I just got kicked out of my house. I'm going to share with you exactly what happened, why I think it happened, and what it actually has to do with magic mushrooms, and also what I'm going to do about this. Hey, I'm so glad you're here today. I'm Dr. Dave. Welcome to Microdose U.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose U.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Dave. I really have a true story to share with you today. It's something that I just got notice about. I literally got kicked out of my house. And before I do that, let me just share something with you real quickly. I'm getting a lot of messages, emails, etc., from you guys, Nakama, followers, friends, everyone. And when you say things in an email or a message to me, like you really appreciate my kindness and you feel that I've got no ego and I've changed your life and just things like that. I hear this almost every single day. I've got to tell you something. You don't know how much it means to me when I hear those types of words. They're very touching. It makes my day. They make my day every single day. And also, I want to say that if I can't get back to you right away, I'm getting so many now. If I can't get back to you right away, I read everything. I try to get back to as many as possible. Sometimes things might slip through the cracks, and if so, I really appreciate it. And I'm also not able to get back like lengthy responses, as you can really imagine. I just hope you can understand and appreciate that, and don't hold that against me in any way. It's beginning to get more difficult, but rest assured, I read every single thing. And yeah, you touch my heart with those words when you say that. And I don't know how to say that in any other way. So just trust me, you really do. It means the world to me. And also, yeah, I got to make sure I say this. For more information about anything I do, check out my website, microdoseu.com, and also the show notes in every episode. I share a bunch of stuff with you. Just go to those links, get on my mailing list, do whatever you can do, and also help support the show by giving us a really good 5-star rating if you believe it's worth that. If you believe it, I'm not asking you to ever to do anything you don't want to do, but it seems like almost every single one of you believes this show is a 5-star show. So thanks again from my heart to your heart. We are, our hearts are touching. They feel the energy back and forth. So just 2 days ago, I got notice that I can no longer stay in my house. Now, let me back up for a second, give you a little bit of a history on this, because it's going to make more sense if I just tell you the story. A little bit over 5 years ago, my wife and I packed up everything we owned from living in Maryland on the East Coast of the United States. I had lived in Maryland almost all of my life. My wife is from Japan, but she had been living in the USA, and we've been together for a little over 20 years now, but she's been living in the USA for about 23, 24 years, something like that. But we lived together, of course, being married in Maryland. And at one point, about 5 or 6 years ago, we just said to each other, we're getting a little bit tired of the East Coast, and our passion lies in the mountains, and with all the mountain activities that we can do out west, like skiing, bike riding, camping, hiking, just all you can imagine, just all the stuff that goes with the beauty of living out west. So 5 years ago, we donated almost everything we owned, sold our house in Maryland, and packed up a few of our possessions, like our cat and my vinyl collection and our skis and our bikes. And we moved out west to Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, why did we choose Salt Lake City, Utah? Because we love the West. We love the mountains. We love skiing. And Salt Lake City is a real city, and it's a beautiful city. And where we live in Salt Lake is just 5 or 10 minutes away from a beautiful international airport. But we're also within minutes of any kind of mountain activity. So we felt Salt Lake is just a perfect place for us, and we still do to this date. We decided to rent a house because I've owned houses all my life in Maryland, and ownership is really good, but we felt that there's more freedom with renting a house, and also financially at the time it made a lot more sense just to rent something. So we found this really nice, comfortable house. We started renting it from this woman a young woman who was going to law school out of state. And there was no guarantee how long we could stay. But even when she finished law school 3 years later, she extended the lease and we just kept staying and everything was great. And we found some great neighbors, who we love. And everything has been beautiful here. We just really have been loving where we live here. 2 days ago, however, I sent her a message saying, I just want to make sure we're okay for renewing our lease in 2025, next year. I got a quick response. It went something like, David, I'm not going to be renewing your lease. I'm going to be moving back into my home. And my heart sunk because this home, the only home we've ever known here in Salt Lake City, we have to move out of. And I can't blame her. She's been nothing but great to us, nothing but fantastic. And it is her home. And she's got every right to move back into her home. I appreciate the fact that we're able to live here 2 extra years, even when she came back from law school, when she lived somewhere else. Greatly appreciative. So she's not doing anything wrong. And we've been great tenants. We always pay our rent on time. We take great care of the house. But, we had a good run and she wants to move back into her house. So we have to vacate this house in April of next year. So the good news is we have a little over 6 months to get out of here, pack up everything, get out of here and find a place to live. But the only problem is, where are we going to go? We don't have an answer right now. The possibilities are find a house to buy or find something to buy, rent someplace again, whether it's a house or a nice apartment or something, or live in our van. We have a little RV van. We could actually travel around the country and live in our van and have a great time and feel no pressure to do anything or come back at any time or even live in any area. However, ski season's coming up. We, of course, love the mountains here. I don't really want to leave the area. But another possibility is to move or at least rent an Airbnb that's close to where our kids live. That would either be Seattle, Washington area or Jacksonville, Florida area. And I know they're like pretty much diametrically opposed in the 48 states, so like about as far as you can be from anywhere else. Seattle and Jacksonville, Florida, pretty far from each other. So as much as we love them, I don't know if we're going to be doing that. So I don't know what we're doing. I don't really know where we're going, but all I know is we're going to be kicked out of this house. My wife and I are going to be homeless, possibly. I just don't know. But here's why I wanted to tie this into magic mushrooms. If this had happened to me years ago, I would be stressed, anxious, not knowing what I was doing, uncertain. The future is just unclear. I would have been a mess. Even though we have some time, I would have been a mess because, again, I did not like uncertainty in my life in any way. Now, because I've been using magic mushrooms for a little over 3 years now, I feel my brain is totally rewired and able to process situations in life such as this. Now, you might say, Dr. Dave, this is not a big deal. You've got plenty of time to decide. And you're right. I do have time to decide. And we've got a ton of options. Again, we could just put our stuff in storage and get into our van and just drive around and do whatever we want to do. I could do that. I could record these podcasts remotely in our van, and that would be pretty darn cool. It would be great. I could also go to Japan for 6 months and rent an Airbnb with my wife. We could just go there and hang out in Japan. She's Japanese, as you probably know. And we'd have a beautiful time, then come back and figure something out when we get back. So many options. And again, that's because the magic mushrooms have rewired me to a point where I'm able to think clearer. I don't panic anymore. I don't get upset. I don't get anxious. Now, I still have all my emotions. If I had a pet that passed away or a good friend, God forbid, that something bad happened to, of course I have emotions and I'd be really sad. That's human. That's being human. We don't want to lose those emotions at all. However, in a general life situation, when something happens, I am much more capable now of taking a step back, remaining calm, and coming up with a solution. It's much better now. In the old days, I'd get upset and anxious and worried and depressed and the list goes on and on and on. And then when you're in those situations, you can't make your best decision. I feel now, since I'm calmer, I can actually weigh out like what do we want? What do we want to do? Where do we want to be? What type of house or condo or apartment or whatever do we want to live in? And I can think about it, organize it, talk to people that are going to be helping me with this, and then come up with the absolute best decision that is best for my life. Again, 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to handle it. How about you? What kind of situation are you in? Can you handle almost anything that life throws at you right now? I mean, suppose you were in the same situation. Would you panic or would you be totally fine with this? If you're watching me on video, you can see that I'm smiling now. I mean, I'm actually looking at this. I'm happy because I'm looking at this as a way to actually like maybe a next chapter of my life with my wife, another chapter that's going to be really good. I'm not looking at it as a negative in any way. I'm actually thinking things are going to get better because now we have the time to choose exactly what we want. Now, when we moved to Salt Lake, we didn't have a lot of time and we looked around a little bit and we picked something that we thought would be okay, good enough. Good enough was going to be okay for us. As it turned out, we ended up really loving this house where we are and we're friends with our neighbors and we love the community here. But that was a little bit lucky because we really didn't know. But now we have time on our hands to make the right decision. And you better believe I'm not going to make a decision until I feel in my heart that it's the absolute right decision to make for us. I'm not going to rush into some place to live only because I'm pressed for time, because I'm not pressed for time. And I said to my wife, look, if we just don't find anything that we love between now and the time we're going to be kicked out on the street, we're not really kicked out on the street. I mean, we're going to leave. We're going to leave when we have to. But if we don't find anything between now and then, look, worst comes to worst. We get a furnished apartment somewhere, pay for something that's ready to go, turnkey, just move in and extend the amount of time that we have to make the decision. We're going to be okay. I mean, I'm not using this episode to beg you to take us in your house and give us shelter until we can find. I mean, I'm probably going to get some people that say, hey, Dr. Dave, you guys can come live with us if you want. That would be funny and that would be really interesting. But I mean, that's not the purpose of this. And nor do we need that because we're okay. We're okay financially. I mean, I'm going to be okay. I mean, I'm not going to be out on the street. I hope. I don't know, but I hope I'm not. But we have time to make a decision. And again, circling back, the point is that 5 years ago, I would have been in a panic state. I mean, it's really weird getting an email or a text message that says you can no longer be in this house. And even though we have a little bit of time, it still feels really weird. It feels like my house. We've been here for 5 years plus. It feels like it's ours. And then getting notification that we got to get out is very, very weird. So I wanted to share this with you. This is what's going on. I'll keep you informed along the way if you want and let you know what's going on. But again, I'm pretty confident it's going to be fine. But still, no matter what, we are getting kicked out of our house. That's a true story. And it's a little bit weird. But I've got the mushrooms. They're going to help me along. They are teachers. They guide me. I've told you this plenty of times. And they can guide you as well. You have to be serious about this. You don't know how many people that I've spoken to over the past 3 years and I've shared my magic mushroom microdosing journey with them. But it's very rare that I find somebody that is very serious and will do whatever it takes to change their life and make their life better. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not the norm. Most people kind of like they give it a try here and there. They do all right. They stop. It's not working. They try something else. They talk to friends. They go another route. That seems to be the norm. And I don't think that's good. If you want to do this, if you truly want to make your life better, I mean, really better, I mean, the best it's ever been, you have to stay with the program. And you don't have to do this part, but I will say, if you keep listening to me or watching me on YouTube or, whatever platform you're on, Apple, Spotify, we're on so many things now. I mean, Amazon now has a podcast platform, and what is it, iHeart, and it's just kind of, with the audio, it's almost everywhere. It's crazy. But if you stick with me and I share more of my story and you listen seriously and you say to yourself, I'm going to do whatever it takes, because I want my life to be kind of like what Dr. Dave is doing. And I've shared with you so many times, I am not some special person who's got these privileges and know-how that nobody else has. I swear to you, I am a regular person. I'm no different than you. The only difference might be that I'm on a timeline that I'm a little bit ahead of you on the timeline. That's possible, and that's okay. It's no fault of anybody's. A little bit ahead of you. And also, I take this very seriously and I persist and I don't give up. No matter what, I don't give up. And I'm not deviating to a million different things. I'm not listening to everybody who has an opinion, because if I listen to everybody with an opinion on telling me what to do, I'd be nowhere, basically. And that's what a lot of people do. You listen to, I don't mean you, but a lot of people just like they listen to so many different people, and there's so many different opinions out there, and they do so many different things that it's just a mess. It doesn't work like that. So stick to one thing. Don't stop. My one thing happens to be microdosing magic mushrooms, and I do everything alongside of it that I preach, that I tell you about. I do all that stuff, but I'm not telling you like tomorrow I'm going to be trying MDMA and the next day I'm going to an ayahuasca ceremony and then I'm going to be doing a microdose of LSD. No, I don't say that. You've never heard me say that. One thing, make sure it works well for you, get it to work for you, and stick to it, and don't keep jumping all over the damn place. Okay, while I have my studio in my home here, I'm going to keep recording from there. If and when I become homeless, I'll find a studio somewhere, maybe in my van. And if we find another, house, apartment, condo, townhouse, whatever it might be, I'll record from there. I'll let you know. I'll let you know every step of the way what's going on. Don't worry. One thing, I'm not going to leave you. I promise that. I promise, no matter where I am, in Salt Lake, in the US, in the world, I will be helping you. I'll be recording and I'll be helping you. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. And again, those letters that you send me, it just kind of keeps my energy going, knowing that I'm helping people out there. And I absolutely love that. And again, if I can't respond right away or if I miss out, please don't hate me so much. It's just, I've got so much going on, and I try my absolute best. Okay. Brand new episode every Wednesday, every Friday. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, because hopefully you'll get notifications every time a new episode comes out. But if you don't get notifications, just check anyway, because I promise you, unless there's some dire emergency, every Wednesday, every Friday. Okay. I love you. I'm Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U.